Welcome to CodeSlate. In this lesson, we'll see how to load test Post API using Gatling. We'll also see how to reuse bean classes in load tests which are created using Gatling. So let's get started. I have already pre-created REST API for creating employee using Post. Let me show that. So in the employee controller, I have created the API to create new employees, and then all the newly created employees will be stored in the cache. So this is a new method in the service, add employee. We create a new employee, set the employee ID, and then put it into the employee map. So this is an API available in the project, and we will be load testing this Post API. So let's see. Before that, I want to verify whether this API is working. So let's start my application. I'm starting my application, Gradle boot run. This will build and start my boot application, Spring Boot application. So let me execute a sample. This is a sample post request. This is a URL, and this is a body. That is I'm sending name and role. So let me check. Yep. So it created an employee. So now I will be load testing this post request using Gatling. Okay. Let me start again. Okay. So I also created the sample users, sample employees, which I will be using for my load testing. So here is a employee name, that is first name and last name, and job description of the employee. These are the test employees that I will be using for my load test. So this I pre-created for before starting. Let me write the new request. My new request will be, we already have the get and health check. I'll create a new request for create an employee. So see here. So I created a new request, and this is a create employee. This is the name of the request, and then it's a post operation, and I'm getting the URL of the employees that I will be using, and that is from here. This is a URL /employees. This is a URL, and I also send the body, that is nothing but an employee. This is a bean class from my project. So if you see, I'm reusing the beans that is defined in the source. So if you see here, this is a bean class which I'm using in my performance test, because this is a bean class that is needed for the post request. So yeah, so I've created a request. Now I'll write the new performance test for create employee. Let me create a new class called create employee performance test. So I created a new performance test class for the post request. So if you see here, test data from the employee feeder. This is we created a test data file to feed into our load test, and then we feed in a circular, and if you see here, that is a employee feeder, and each employee is supplied from these 5 to the create employee request. So in the create employee request, you see here, so when that each employee comes here, we take the username and the job description of the employee and then create a bean class. So the bean class is from the project, that is model employee, and then we create a new employee and then supply it as a body to our post request. And once the request is successful, we verify the status of the request, and if it is 200, then the operation is successful. If you see here, we will also store the result employee ID, and we will see how to use this employee ID to perform other operation, like I want to perform a get operation after a post. So that we'll see in the next lesson. For now, we are getting the employee ID and storing into the cache. And yeah, so we are creating the employee, and this is usual performance parameters, that is number of users, ramp up user seconds, and test duration. So this is all set. Now let's run our load test. Let's go to the command line. So this is a command to run the load test. So create employee load test. This is nothing but the task we have created for our performance test. So this is a task we have created for the create employee performance test, which we will be going to run. So let's run that. So it's compiling the load test. It may take a few seconds. Yeah. So if you see here, our first test is successful, that is okay, which is successful, and we can verify that here. So employee ID 6 is created, first name, last name, employee 1 and 2. So now our tests are running. So we are done with 3 test cases and waiting for 3 more to finish. So that is 50% of our tests are run. As we can see here, our configuration is 6 users. So we want to load test 6 users. So 2 are waiting. I think, yeah, 1 more waiting. We'll also see how these are in our server. I want to see all the employees that are created using the employees API. So let me check. Yeah, it is successful. See here, we have created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the test employees from our configuration, and our performance test is done. For the post operation, we can see the beautiful test report from the Gradle. So all the operations, all the post requests are successful. So there are no failures, all are okay. And these are various metrics for our post operations. This is how we can run the post performance test cases for post API using the bean classes. We are using the bean classes from the project. We are reusing the bean classes. This is imported as an employee, and we created the JSON request, JSON body from these bean classes and supplied to our post operation. So thanks for watching. See you in the next lesson.